gonna change the world, change the world, change the world, yeah.
Welcome to Celebrate Transformation. We are being transformed by the renewing of our minds. That's what this show is all about. My name is Tim Storey with Sally Colon-Petree. Hi, Sally.
Hey, Tim.
You're looking bright and excited.
I'm so excited. Are you kidding? The show is so fun.
And it's really an awesome show. And tell me where it kind of came out of your spirit, this idea of celebrating transformation. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, it started on my own journey of transformation about, I guess in 2016, where something happened in my life that brought me to a place of trying to figure myself out, trying to find myself. And I've been on this journey now almost 5 years and super excited to get to know myself and have all these tools now that I want to share. So that's what it is.
And then you came up with a tagline about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so, as you know, so much of it is in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling us that our minds can be renewed and we could have a better life?
Absolutely. And the funny thing about you saying that is that I was with a girlfriend the other night and she was like, so people can change? And I said, yes, people can change. And I think people just don't think that they can, but they can. And you know that as a life coach for many years.
Well, I like that you're saying that because I hear so many times about people being stuck in their ways. And I life coach a lot of men. And I see a lot of men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s make radical transformations and beautiful changes. And so that is really, really possible. Now, today, I'm excited about the subject that we're talking about, and that is how to deal with disappointment. And disappointment is an interesting thing because it literally means something did not work.
Right.
Okay. So many of you that are watching, you tried something that did not work. Could be a job, could be a company, could be a relationship. And so, Sally, when you think about disappointment, what comes to your mind?
I mean, I think when I think about disappointment, I think about my childhood. You know, I never wanted to disappoint my parents. I never wanted to disappoint my friends. And so within that, I don't think I was ever myself, you know?
Okay.
I don't think I was ever myself because it was always about like pleasing everybody, you know, and not wanting to disappoint anybody.
Okay, so that's very, very powerful. So I see it as a life coach that that's almost two sides of it, like two sides of a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And one is, in this case, you're saying you did not want to disappoint. But then there's other people that are dealing with, they feel like they have been disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So let's deal with the first side of the coin of you being concerned about disappointing or letting people down. Okay. So what I like to say, like as a life coach again, is that some things are innate. They're just part of our structure, the way we are. Other things are learned behavior. How did you become that person that did not want to disappoint people?
Well, I remember this, I was in a therapy session and was talking about my kids, you know, because I have 2 teenage daughters. And through the divorce, now I'm parenting by myself in my home. And my therapist said to me, it is okay to disappoint your children. And I was like, wait, what? Because no one has ever said that to me. And I was like, well, but I don't want to disappoint my kids, you know, especially because they had just gone through this very difficult time. And when I started setting boundaries, because that's really what it was about for me, is starting to set boundaries with my own kids and not always trying to please them, you know, because they would use this line and go, well, I'm mad at you, Mom. And in the past, I'd be like, wait, why are you mad at me? You know, now I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'm okay that you're mad at me right now. And I remember the first time I ever said that to Bella, who's my older one, she just kind of looked at me like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And that was
I love what you're saying, because I think that as parents, that because we saw the challenges that our parents went through trying to raise us, right?
Right.
So now we try to be like super parents. And for me, from the male perspective, that I traveled a lot as my kids were young. And so when I would come home, I was Disneyland dad.
Right.
I was like the fun dad. I was the adventure dad. And I remember sometimes they weren't like going for my adventures. And I felt like I was like letting them down. And I remember my daughter said to me one time, she was probably only 11. She goes like, Dad, everything that we do doesn't have to be, watch, amazing.
But you felt like it needed to be?
I did, yeah, because I felt guilt because I traveled all the time.
Right.
So that I felt like I needed to come and make it up.
I understand that.
Okay,
Right.
so if you don't mind, I'm going to put a scripture to this. In the Message Bible, Proverbs 13:12 says, unrelenting disappointment can leave you heartsick. So let's unpack that a little bit, because I find that there's a lot of you that are watching that you've been getting disappointed and disappointed and disappointed, and that things that did not work started to make you heartsick. And to be heartsick, as you know, Sally, is to be sick in the center. And the center is the core of who you are.
Right.
Joy comes from your heart. Faith comes from your heart. Courage comes from your heart. So maybe you can talk to me about that for a second, about disappointment. Okay. Now we're talking about the other side of the coin, how that can actually make you heartsick. Have you been disappointed before? Tell us.
Oh my gosh, a lot. Of course, I've been disappointed before. You know, I think a lot of me now, like I don't put as much energy into people disappointing me, because I've learned to lower my expectations.
Yeah.
And that really has helped me to not allow disappointment to creep in. So, and that's something my best friend, Cindy Diane, said to me one day when I was talking about a situation. She's like, girl, you need to lower your expectations. And when she said that to me, I was like, why would I need to lower my expectations? But then it made so much sense.
It's a very powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so your friend is very, very smart, because what happens is that a lot of us, we have super high expectations.
Absolutely.
Which I do believe we should have high expectations. Okay. But sometimes you have to lower them. Like, let's say Thanksgiving, and you have these expectations that, oh my God, the family's together, everyone's just going to gel.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Now that we're older, I bring them down right here.
I do too.
Bring them down. I'd rather be like surprised that someone like goes beyond my expectations.
Right. Well, the other side, yeah, I was going to say the other side of that is, you know, we want, when we have our expectations up here, a lot of times people can't reach that.
Okay.
You know, so that's why it's like, find out who you're hanging out with and figure out where they are, so you don't make the expectation so high that they can't ever get to it.
Okay. So let's talk about this expectation and also the disappointment, even in family with children. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like with me, I have a son and a daughter, and they're getting older. So things have shifted.
Right.
And I remember the first time I took my daughter to school, and she said, Dad, don't drop me off so close to the school. Okay. Okay.
I love that.
That threw me off.
Yes, I'm sure.
Because I have a job where people clap for me when I'm done. And now, hello, you little 10-year-olds, you're
right.
telling me.
She don't care.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't go so close to the school. I'm not kidding. It was like something I had to like go through for a while. Can you see my point though?
Totally, of course. This is your daughter. It's different than an audience. This is inner circle.
So help us as parents, for parents that are watching, is it, how can we kind of work through some of this disappointment?
Yeah.
Because I still feel it now sometimes with my kids. Again, back to my daughter again, is that she is a producer in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. She works with Fox. And the thing with her is, it used to be that, you know, every week at this certain time, we would eat for either breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right?
Okay.
Now she's like, Dad, I got to work. Dad, I got to work. And I feel like I'm like being rejected, right?
Aww.
It's not a terrible thing. You don't have to be
right.
I mean, you know my daughter, how cool she is.
She's
No,
so
but she doesn't mean to do that. She's just doing what she does at this stage of her life, which is she likes working.
right.
All right. So as a parent, how do we deal with that?
So, what it sounds like is that your daughter she has some boundaries now where she's like, yes, Dad, this is what we used to do, but I have a life. I'm over here. I got to set a boundary. This is where I'm at now. And then, as parents, we have to respect those boundaries, right?
Yes.
That's the key to keeping a great relationship with your kids. Like my kids know about boundaries because I taught them about boundaries as I was learning, right? So there's times where even Bella or Stevie, like I'll come home and I just want to be with my girls. I just want to sit on the couch and get some popcorn and watch a movie and just, cuddle with my babies. And they're like, no, Mom, we got stuff to do. We're on FaceTime with our friends. And that's just like, what? I need my girls. But I have to respect their boundaries, just like they have to respect mine. It's a mutual respect with our kids.
So I like what you're saying. So there's a constant adjustment because you talked about lowering expectation. That's adjustment.
Yes.
And then also our expectations of what we're going to get from our children actually is an adjustment as well.
That's right. And, what's interesting too, is I think a lot of it comes down also to people pleasing, right? Which is a completely different, kind of angle when it comes to disappointment. One thing that I learned in my boundaries class is that people pleasers tend to be controlling. The first time I ever heard that, I was like, wait, what? Because we're trying to please people to control how they feel about us.
You just taught me something. That's really powerful. I didn't know that.
So think about that. So I had to go, okay, who do I have in my life that I'm controlling, right? By being a people pleaser to them. So in the beginning of that conversation I was having with myself, I had to think about the different people in my life that I had to let go because they were in my life because I was trying to please them. I was trying to be like them. I was trying to fit in with them.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. You're watching Tim Storey and Sally Colon-Petree. We're talking about dealing with disappointment. Okay. Disappointment means basically something did not work. And I read a scripture in the Message Bible: unrelenting disappointment leaves you heart sick. Okay. So I said to be sick in the center is not good because faith comes from your core. Hope, courage comes from your core. And I think there's a lot of people watching right now, Sally, that are heart sick because they're getting disappointed in the times that we're living in. Can we deal with that for a second? We had COVID-19 that's right on us, right? Then we have the challenge with racism that's been for a long time, but really peaking right now on another level.
Absolutely.
Okay? So there's a lot coming at us at one time where there's a lot of disappointment. No wonder people's heart is sick. How did you start to mend your broken heart?
Which time?
This is good. How about the last time?
Oh, wait. Okay. So you're talking about the tragedy that
No, it doesn't have to be like one tragedy. It could it could be situations. Okay. Because I know you, let me steer you into an area.
Okay.
All right. So I know this about you is that you know how to get things done. So whether you're working on a documentary or a TV series or a movie or whatever, you like to get things done.
Yeah.
If it's not done or done correctly, that is not exciting to you. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So how do you deal with projects that disappoint you? Let's just go projects, not your personal life.
Okay.
Let's go projects.
So I'll tell you what I've learned in some of my heartbreaks recently. Let's go there. I've learned that not everything has to go the way I think it needs to go. And that was a hard lesson for me because I am a leader and I am a producer and I direct films and I'm used to being in charge, right?
You are.
But there's certain areas in life that I need to turn that off. Let's say motherhood, love, relationships.
Okay.
You know, so I've learned recently in a relationship I was in, I'm not going to go too deep in that, and it was my first relationship after my divorce. It had been 4 years since I dated.
Okay.
I didn't really have coping skills for, dating somebody after divorce 4 years. And I learned a lot in that it doesn't always need to be the way I think it needs to be. And I really need to be open to how other people do things and learn from that.
Okay, I'm liking this. So you're saying that in the work side of Sally,
yes,
that you are learning that sometimes it's just not the way you thought it was going to be.
Right.
So
Doesn't always happen that way. Yeah.
You have to change again your expectations, but also in the relationship side. Now, so for me, I remember one time I got hired to do a talk show, but not a small one, a very big one. So I was signed by Telepictures, the same people who do Ellen DeGeneres. And they were already talking about my billboards. They were talking about the billboards. Are you understanding me?
Woo.
No, we were that far.
That's amazing.
We had the set designer, the person that did Oprah's set was going to do mine. I was in New York. Everything was happening. And then they decided to not take the show out, and they held me for a year. Still good news. They held you. You're still in the game. Then they held me another year and then decided, hey, there's no room for what we want you to do. We're going to circle around to you later, which they have, again, recently, Telepictures. But disappointment is an understatement of how I felt.
I'm sure.
Because I was so excited about what I thought was going to happen. So based on what they said, I had created this energy towards this project. And not only had I created energy, I had told people about it.
Wow.
So I was telling my family.
Woo! Yes.
You're going to have to see my billboards. That's almost like you, Sally. Have you ever been in a movie and you thought you were going to be in it more and then they had cut you out a little bit?
Wow. That's happened.
I want to know about that. Tell me about it.
I was in an episode of Friends. I was a guest star. And I played Joey's girlfriend in the episode where Jennifer Aniston, both her parents, one is one and one is in the other apartment. They're not supposed to see each other. And I had a couple lines. They cut them out.
So my goodness.
Yes. So when I tell my kids, oh, mommy was on an episode of Friends, they're like, oh, let's see it. So we see the episode and no lines.
Okay, what happens to you in it? You just show up in the room?
So I'm in the room. I'm next to Joey. He's with me. We're dancing together. I mean, I'm with him the whole time, but they took my lines out.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I find this funny because this is most of our lives.
Yeah.
Watch, this is most of our lives. Like I was looking at somebody's social media a few days ago, and it's one of my old employees that I'd reconnected with. And she said, this is my Instagram. And so I was perusing through, and then she showed like herself out on New Year's Eve before 2020. Yeah. And the whole idea was, it's going to be my year. Okay. Little did you know, like COVID-19 was right around the corner, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's an interesting about life that, like, again, what you hoped, what you thought was going to happen.
Yes.
So you're on Friends with the amazing casts.
Of course.
One of the greatest shows of all time, right?
Yep.
You did speak when they filmed the episode.
Absolutely.
And then they took your words out.
They took my words out. And I even have the script that shows, but they took it out, which was really
all right. So if you're dealing with disappointment, you are watching the right show today. This is Celebrate Transformation, Sally Colon-Petree. Wow, I'm loving this stuff. Let's go back to this. Unrelenting disappointment leaves you heart sick. But there's a comma, and then it says, but a sudden good break can turn your life around.
Mm.
So the word break means an opportunity or a chance. Let's go there for a second.
Yeah.
Because I have been so disappointed in my life, and then I got a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say this, you've heard me say it many times. When you get a break, okay, it's a breakthrough. It's
Right.
not a break sit or a break stand.
So good.
Breakthrough.
That's so good. I hope people understand that.
Yeah.
Can you go a little bit deeper into that? Because that's so good.
Okay, so here's the deal. When someone is disappointed, they go from a shout to a whisper.
Mm.
How's it going with your husband? Well, okay. How's it going with your kids? Well, okay. How's your job? Well, okay. So you go from a shout to a whisper. So everything goes, watch, inward.
Wow.
When you're inward, you're not looking for the break. So sometimes the break is happening around you, but you don't see it, Sally, because you've gone so inward.
Ooh.
So it's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough, not a break sit. Like, I'll give you one quick illustration because you know her. So you know our friend Diane Hudson, who was executive producer of Oprah Winfrey for many, many years, worked with Oprah for over 20 years, right?
Yes.
And also in your documentary called what?
Women Like Us.
Played a great role in that.
Yeah, she does.
All right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one day I'm speaking at this event, and I had not met Diane at that time. And after I'm done speaking, we begin to dialogue about things. And it so happens that she starts saying, hey, I'm going to talk to Oprah about doing these different things. Now, what if I was in a funky mood, in a funky place, all disappointed?
Mm-mm.
I would have missed
Absolutely.
the break through.
Yeah, because she's not going to take you to Oprah if you're like moping around about something that happened to you. Absolutely not.
100%. Okay, so watch. So unrelenting disappointment leaves you heart sick. So all of you that are watching, be careful of this because you can get heart sick and you can go inward, that I call singular.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you're down, you go singular. When you're alive, you go plural.
I love that.
Like you got little girls, and I see you guys before COVID-19, you have these girl parties that God help me. I'm like,
I mean, I got to keep it going. I got 2 teenage girls.
they're dancing, they're eating pizza, they're doing TikToks.
Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain. Okay, so watch. When you're disappointed, Sally, you go singular.
Yeah.
When you're excited, you go plural. Plural is, I want to bring my friends. I want to be around people. Okay. So unrelenting disappointment leaves you heartsick, but a sudden good break can turn your life around. The word turn there means it can give your life a new position. That's what has happened to you. Life repositioned you.
It sure did.
Come on. Life repositioned you.
I
mean, when I met you, you were just a pop star.
I was, but it was so empty. Like, it's one thing to like have this big audience and everybody loves you. But it's more important to me that this crew of people love me. Family, friends, people that mean something to me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I feel like now I'm in a place where I'm happy with who I am. And there's things happening in my life that I like, like for instance, and I haven't even told you this, my film, Women Like Us, you mentioned it before, a documentary, it took me 3.5 years to produce and direct. I got a random call a few days ago from a distribution company in New York that they saw my film, they heard about it, they want to distribute it. So
wow,
that just happened.
That's huge.
That just happened.
But that's big.
It's huge. So I'm excited about it because it's a film that I've been wanting to get out. I think it's going to impact a lot of people, and it's, it has to do with a lot of what we're talking about right now.
Okay. So here's some takeaways, and then Sally's going to wrap up the program today. Is that number one, you have a promise. A promise brings hope and expectation. Number two, you got to walk by the right principles for that promise to happen. Number 3, you're always going to have problems. And so if you say, I've got problems, welcome to planet Earth. So you got the promise, you got the principles, you got the problems. But in order to step into your purpose, you've got to learn how to get through the disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are watching an amazing show, Celebrate Transformation. I'm Tim Storey, Sally Colon-Petree. Sally, tell us how they can connect with us. People that are watching, they want to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect with us on either one of us on our Instagram pages, which you'll see on the screen. You could also, if you have any show ideas, if you have questions, just comment below. We're going to be commenting back with you guys, getting to know some of you guys. Let people know about the show. We're going to be airing every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Jesus Daily. And then we're just excited to this is our second episode, and we'll be here every week. So
every week.
Absolutely.
Celebrate Transformation. Tim Storey, Sally Colon-Petree. Have a fantastic